Hey beautiful people, how you doing? Welcome back to Mission 500. What day are we on? We are day 38 with this, day 38. So let me get you up on my computer. If you're new to watching, hey, how you doing? You can interact with me, you can ask questions. I can't see it on my phone, so what I do is I have a look on the computer whilst we go along and chat. So I don't miss anything, and if I do, I tend to try and reply afterwards. So don't be afraid to reach out. Let me know when you are here. Let me know where you are in the world, especially if you're new. Why am I not showing live? Hang on, let's refresh. If in doubt, refresh. Not very good with technology. Well, here we go. Oh, hey, Catherine Malone. Hey, Jennifer Mason. How you doing? It's awesome to see you guys here, which is really awesome. I do have some shout outs because I haven't done it for a few days, have I? Yes, so the board is coming along lovely for September. Thank you so much for your support. As always, I'm super grateful to be able to help and support you and have you as a follower. It means an awful lot. So I'm glad that we're doing this. It's been lovely to be able to see so many faces and so many of you come on, jump on lives and interact as well. So keep it up, it's amazing. So we have, I don't know why I put it on there. Anyway, Kimberly Chicky, I think, was somebody who last joined our Mission 500. We've had a few more people who have actually joined our standard membership because our membership pretty much has a lot included. So if you're looking for a bit of everything, you definitely want to check that out. I'll link it up. So we've had Thai, Elizabeth and Dwana, who's recently joined, and Facebook stars. Cara is our recent Facebook star giver. Thank you so much, my lovely. And now we have tallies from people. So we've now got more, these people are now like in competition with each other with the tallies and the stars. But no, I'm super grateful. Thank you so much for your support, guys. It really means a lot to keep this going. So, hey Monique, how you doing? Kathy's at Asda, but driving home to get my card. Oh God. Cool, alrighty. So, today is all about building your strength, and particularly for beginners. Even if you're struggling and you're maybe an intermediate, it may be just worth giving it a go with some of these exercises. You can always make these exercises harder. That's the great thing, is that with any exercises, there's always a variation that you can do to make it more challenging or slightly easier. So that's what we're going to cover today, and we're going to go through at least 4 off the pole exercises you can do. So if you don't have a pole at home, fantastic, you can still work on it. And 4 on the pole. So if you do have a pole at home, you can do both, okay? Does anybody have any questions so far? Otherwise, we'll just get stuck in. We will get stuck in. Let's see. No, right, I will keep an eye on it. Shout out if you got something to say. So, starting from the floor, I think we'll do. So let me set you up here. This thing's amazing, isn't it? Look at that. Oh, she says, about to fall down. Not no more. There we go. Cool. So there's so much you can do on the floor. Okay, so I do have a list to make sure that I cover all 4 that I've got written down. Some of them obviously do, like a lot of things on the floor, is very wristy, because you want to be in the 90-degree position with the wrists, like a handstand basically. Handstands are great. If you're not sure where to get started, definitely check out the handstand lessons, because they're beginner handstand lessons to help build strength up with that. But otherwise, anything that was on the floor, so planks, for example, are really good. So plank, I do forearm push-up onto full arms, okay? So I call it plank up, plank down. Really good. But the most important thing with a plank is, again, it's building that pushing strength up. You're pushing the floor away. So it's going to help you with that pushing strength you need on the pole, yeah? So we're going to start in an all 4 position. It's really important to make sure you've got a good position for your plank. You may start in a really good position, and then as you fatigue, you come out of position. So just always try and check your alignment. So you can either start full arms or forearms, doesn't matter, because we're just going to go up and down anyway. So I'm going to start in full arms, so spreading the fingers and making sure they're underneath the shoulders. So many people start wider, okay? So we do want to be directly underneath. And again, I like to have my index fingers pointing forwards. And then from here, I'm going to straighten one leg out and I'm going to tuck the tailbone under, okay? So many people dip like this, okay? So what you want to do is have one leg out and then tuck the tailbone under. So you scoop that belly button towards your spine, okay? So it's like you're squeezing your butt. So I know I talk about this a lot, but and you're going to start to worry about me. But if I was there, okay, I would try and poke you up the bum, metaphorically speaking. So I want you to think, how would you stop me sticking my finger up your bum, okay? Because if you just give it to me all, then like, yeah, I'm having it, all right? So what you want to do is obviously make sure your shoulders are forward, tuck the tailbone under, so that you're squeezing your butt so tight that I cannot get up there. Does that make sense? And of course, you don't want to be like up away. You do want to be shifted so that if you do push up and away, you'll know because your shoulders won't be over your wrists, okay? So try and scoop and try and look at your alignment to be in this plank position. So from here, all we're going to do is we're going to try and bring one arm down. So you don't even have to lift, you can bend. So the forearm goes down and then the other one. And then you're going to push back up, push up. Now, if you're going to do that, your feet will slide back and forth. So that's, or you'll need to actively push your feet backwards and forwards to make sure you stay in alignment. So it is slightly trickier. If you struggle, we're going to lift one leg, lift one hand off the floor and then place it down. Place it down. And your elbows will go underneath your shoulders. Then we're going to push up, and then down, down. Always trying to think that your butt is still not up, okay? We're going to keep it down. Don't show me your butt because I'll be there. Up, up, down, down, okay? It doesn't look as challenging, but oh my gosh, it's so good. You can obviously do reps, you can do it to time. I love to time because you don't have to think about the reps. And also, you just get it done. Where sometimes when you think about reps, you're like, oh, I don't want to do it. Just put a time on, put some music on, distract stuff. So the other one is tricep dips. I like tricep dips off like a chair or something. I don't have a stable chair in here to show you. But something where you're slightly elevated. Because what I find people do is they just stick their butt to the ground. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so tricep dips. Now what I see a lot of people do is this. Okay, so we want to focus more on the arms. So if you use a chair and you're sat on a chair and you think about taking your butt off the edge of the chair and then sink your butt to the floor, you'll have to bend your elbows. So that's quite a good way if you really struggle to bend your arms. But otherwise, we're just going to start with our butt on the floor. And our hands are behind us, fingers facing forwards, and I'm going to push up, okay, like a reverse plank position, okay? And then from here, I'm not shifting forwards here at all. I'm literally just thinking about bending the elbows and then pushing back up. And you just go as low as you can do right now. Does that make sense? Those get you right in these triceps. We use triceps a lot in pole, okay? So we definitely want to make sure we're building that strength up. Just going to see if you've got any questions. How often, Catherine Miller, how often should you work on strength? I always go on a 2 to 3 times a week basis. It doesn't have to be like a whole hour workout, 15 to 30 minutes max. You probably won't want to do too much more of that, 2 to 3 times a week. Most people can do that. I mean, if you make it as part of like your routine, like you're getting up and doing maybe a morning routine, it's fairly okay to keep and stick to it. Especially like if you follow any of the core blast, body blast exercises or workouts, they're all pretty much as close to 30 minutes as I can get. So that 30 minutes blocked out, get it done, boom, and that's the end of it. Whereas sometimes when you've got reps, you may drag it out. So I prefer time myself. Hey Katrine, how you doing? So that is 2, right? Laying pole down is another one. So this I may have done before because this I have inside my MTC, so master the chopper training, or you master the invert, or straddle V, whatever you like to call it. And because we do need to work on the back, and if you've watched that video, you know what I'm talking about. The back plays a lot. So we do have to develop that upper body in the back, the strength at the back to be able to hold a flat back. This will help you get your hips up for that move, but we need the back to do a lot in pole. So laying pole down is basically working your lats. So we're going to lay down, and what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze the butt. Always squeeze the butt, never let me in. So we're going to lengthen away. Okay, so straighten the arms. Now what I see a lot of people do with this is they have their arms too wide, they don't actually focus on it. So we are going to work on like your range of motion in your shoulders. So what we want to focus on is lifting as high as you can without going wide. Yeah, we actually want to keep them as close to the ears as possible, and we're going to keep them lifted throughout. And then from here, I'm going to think about squeezing my back together. So I'm thinking about bringing the elbows down and back, but at the same time, I'm going to lift my chest. So from here, squeeze, lift up, hold for a second, lengthen, really straighten the arms, lift high, pull, squeeze, and lengthen, pull, squeeze. Okay, does that make sense? They're really good because I think a lot of people neglect strengthening their back. They always focus on core and maybe biceps, but back not so much. In my opinion, that's from what I've seen, okay? You might work a lot on your back, I don't know. But definitely you want some back training going on in there. Who else have we got going on here? Hey Rod, how you doing? You're totally welcome, Catherine. No problem at all. Alrighty, and then what else do I have going on here? What have I? Okay, so we've got shoulder taps. So shoulder taps is going back into that plank position and lifting one hand and tapping the shoulder. So it's very similar to going the up and down, down. But we're going to try and tap the shoulder, and we're not allowed to rock the hips. Okay, and that's the challenging bit. Lots of people are like, yeah, I can tap my shoulders. But the most important thing is trying to stay stable. So go into that big hug position, tucking that tailbone under, squeezing it up. And then from here, tap, so you lift one hand up and tap. If you can see my whole ass as I tap, you're doing it wrong, okay? If you've got too much rock here, you're doing it wrong. It's not necessarily, I don't want to say wrong, I don't think that's the right word, but we're just not stabilised enough, okay? You really want to stay still, so your whole body stays still, but the only thing that moves is that arm that's coming off the floor. So from here, so you're going to try, the wider you have your feet, guys, the more stable you're going to feel as well. Just make sure you don't push back. Make sure the shoulders are under, over the wrist. Lift one hand, tap, place it down. Lift one hand, tap, place it down. So as you can see, I'm trying not to move my hips. Does that make sense? They're challenging, but if you do all these exercises really, really good form, you can build your strength really quickly. But from what I see, people try and rush through it and then they do really rubbish form and they think they're doing more, and then they get frustrated with themselves that they're not developing the strength. And that's, I think, what I'm seeing quite a lot. So definitely just rein it back, even if you don't do as many reps within a certain amount of time, but you're feeling it. Woo! It's going to be good. It's going to be good, okay? Now, the other thing not to be underestimated with, now if anyone has done one of these, this is in one of my body blast workouts, is shoulder circles. You may actually do a lot of this maybe with your studio instructors as part of your warm-up, but you can absolutely do this as a workout on its own. You just do it for longer. You can also use wrist weights or ankle weights on your wrists as well to make it more challenging. You can hold little dumbbells. So basically you take your arms out in line with the shoulders and you like try and push away. So you as wide as you can, okay? And then you're going to do really tiny circles, but as fast as you can. And you'll start to do that and you're like, oh yeah, whatever. Do that, you know, a minute, both sides, both ways. You're going to be feeling it, okay? Yeah, so I do think a lot of body weight exercises are totally underused. Oh, is that the right word? I don't know. But definitely not used enough for us polars. It's definitely the way forward, okay? So definitely do some off the pole training. In my opinion, it'll definitely help. So let's have a look at some stuff that you can do on the pole, okay? So it doesn't really matter off the pole, like it can be any level, you can always make it more difficult. So on the pole is exactly the same, like you can always make these more difficult, okay? And you probably can always make these more easier as well. So if you ever struggle with anything, if you've joined our program and you struggle, please use the coaching. I can't stress that enough. I have 2 coaching sessions a week to help you. You know, it might be that I'd be able to give you a variation. Most of the time I can, so please book in if you're ever stuck with anything. Pull-ups or seated pull-ups is one of my other favourites. So we did the lay and pull downs, yeah, as part of my MTC training. The seated pull-ups is also part of my MTC training. So we do a mixture in MTC Master Chopper. So I'm just going to move you up a bit. So what we want to focus on with this upper body strength is the pull down. So lots of people don't have don't have access to a pull-up bar. If you do have access to a pull-up bar, I would absolutely recommend working on pull-ups. yeah, at 100%. Challenge yourself. If you've got a pull-up bar, do some pull-ups. You know, work up towards getting 10, you know, in a row, okay? It will take time, but it'll be good. But a lot of people don't have a pull-up bar, so what we're going to do is use the pole, because at the end of the day, we want to build our strength using the pole. Whereas, obviously, when you do pull-ups, your arms in a squat position, which is fine, like if you're working, you know, more advanced, but as a beginner, we're mostly upright. So we can use the pole to help us with this. So seated pull-ups, you may have seen, I've done these before. Yeah? So the main focus with this is the pole down, okay? You're pulling the pole into the floor. So I've got my legs bent, okay? And I can push with my feet, but I don't want to think about that right now. What I'm going to think about is pulling the pole into the floor. So I'm going to reach both hands up. They have both of them are slightly bent, okay? They're not just in front of my face, they are higher, but what I'm not doing is fully extending, okay? You can fully extend later when you're more advanced. So I'm going to have a slight bend, because that's going to help me. And I'm going to think about tucking the elbows in, and I'm pulling that pole into the floor. And as you can see, I'm pulling the shoulders down before I've lifted my butt off the ground. Okay, that's the most important thing. And then what you're going to do is you're going to think about pulling the elbows to your sides without pushing with your feet. So you're going to think about pull, and you're like, oh, I can't do it. So when you're in this position, then use your feet ever so slightly to just basically give you an assisted pull-up, okay? Now, what I see too much is people pushing back, okay? If you're pushing back here, you're not doing it right. We want to be pulling down as much as you can, okay? So this body should stay close to pole, even if you are using your feet as a little bit of resistance. So we're going to pull down, the body stays close to the pole as you come down. The body should not be angled as you push. When you set your butt back down the floor, we can just swap hands, so we can swap both ways. Does that make sense? Now, my other one that I've been giving my members in our MTC live training, one to help develop core strength, help bicep strength, and just work on being able to get your knees a little bit higher, is once you're in that position, take your legs off the floor. Now, I don't expect any complete beginner to be able to do that, okay? But something that you can work towards is trying to lift, because then we can work on the guns, right? So, when you do the pull up, so elbows in, squeeze, pull, hold, lift one leg, then the other. Down, down, butt down. And if you want to, you can try and lift both at the same time. Okay, and if you want the extra challenge, pull, lift, hold. See how long you can hold it if you want the extra challenge, okay? But you can see how that will work with such a range of muscles, but focusing initially with the pull-ups and working on that upper body. Yeah? And then obviously once we've done the pull-ups working your back, but also when you're holding, you're working your biceps, which we definitely need for inverting. Oh, okay, nobody else is... Are you just listening? That's fine. I like it. But I don't want you to be bored. So, you know, if I'm boring you, let me know. Okay, so that's pull-ups. And then, of course, you have tucks. Tucks that everybody knows tucks, yeah? But I know, as a complete beginner, you might go, I can't even lift my feet off the ground, okay? And I totally understand. When I first started polling, you may have read my story, I couldn't do a fireman. I remember going to this class, trying to do a fireman, and she was just like, just take your feet, like, as soon as you sweep around, lift your feet. It was not computing. So I have never had great strength. It's always taken me a long time, so I can completely relate to you guys who are brand new, because there seems there's lots out there for you guys that are a bit more advanced, or if you've had more training or experience, but for somebody who's brand new, it's not a lot out there, which is why I created my program to start at the very beginning, all right? Because I totally get it. It's like, what? How the hell? I mean, like I said, I can't even do it fireman. So what you can do is work on tucks, but doing them like up, up, down, down. And you can also work, so don't worry if you can't do a tuck, like you can't bring your knees up. I can't remember who I was speaking to. Somebody said, I can't even take my feet off the ground, let alone think about taking my knees to my elbows, because that's kind of one of my cues, is bringing these up high, because I want to get the hips up for an invert. So don't worry, it doesn't matter, okay? So there are a couple of options you can do, okay, when you're doing tucks. So if you're really struggling with your tucks, We can work on the pole down. So again, still working on that upper body. You'll also still work on your core strength, even if your feet don't come off the floor, okay? So hopefully you understand a good tuck position. Hip is just in front of the pole, inner arm is around, at chin level, outside hand above. Now a lot of people start in this position and they crouch back. But just like we've done the seated pull-ups, we're going to think about pulling the shoulders back and down. We're pulling the pole into the floor, basically. So here, pull down. Okay, and you'll also see I'm tucking that butt under as well, okay? Don't give me an excuse, don't stick your butt out on me. I've warned you. Okay, so I'm tucking under because you'll find that you'll be able to engage your core better. So from here, all you can do is pull the pole down, keep those arms bent, and then start to bend the knees, and you're going to feel the more grip that you're going to need through your arms. So start to bend, start to bend, start to bend, start to bend, and then you're like, oh, I just can't take my feet off the floor. That's okay. So we can just stay in this position. You should feel it. Oh my God, I'm feeling it, yeah? And also the squeezing of the pole is going to help with grip strength. Once you feel like you could, once you sunk into that position, keeping the arms bent, no like straightening the arms, then see if you can just bring one leg up, okay? So we're going to squeeze, 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 bend, bend, bend. Feel that grip, keep those biceps bent, engaged. Then you're going to see if you can take one foot off the ground, doesn't have to be high, and then just see if you can hop the other one. Does this make sense? Yeah? And of course make sure that you do both sides as well. And that's how you're going to build your strength up, nice and slowly. Does this make sense? So don't worry, like most people don't start being able to do a tuck. Most true beginners can't, okay? Lots of people can. Not me, okay? We have no strength. So I get it. So don't panic and don't compare yourself. I was having a conversation with a member only today about comparing. And as much as, you know, we all say, don't compare yourself to anyone else, you still do, right? And it was funny actually because she was saying, again, something I hadn't really thought about, is a lot of our members, where they follow our lessons or our structured course, our foundation course, and so they may have gone through the lessons once and then they'll go through it again, and they may go through like 3 times, 4, 5, maybe even 6 times going through these courses, because every time they get better and better. So when you come and join, if you're then watching somebody who is doing the lesson, but it may be their 6th time doing it, so they've had a hell of a lot more practice and they've built the strength up, and you might be seeing that for the first time. Don't compare. You don't know where they are. You don't know where they are in their journey. You don't know the experience they have. Even if they're working at the same levels, we've got members who have like reached our advanced lessons, and then they're like, I want to start again. I want to make sure I can perfect these moves even better now. So our advanced girls are back at working through beginners. So yes, they're doing the same lessons as a complete beginner, but so it makes it, they look, you know, awesome because they've reached that level anyway. So don't compare, okay? Everybody starts somewhere, and that's okay. We all start somewhere, like I said. I can't even take my feet off the ground. Okay, so I'm talking away here. Okay, step up, step down. This is also part of the pole circus. If you've joined this current Mission 500 this month, you'll find this, okay? This is a step up, step down, doing like a handstand position. It's going to help build your strength not only in your shoulders and your core, but it's going to help you feel confident being upside down. But we're not going completely upside down, we're literally going to step up. You don't even need a pole for this either, so this could be an off the pole exercise, but you will need a door or a wall space, okay? So basically it looks like this. Please note, if you're new here, I'm using a silicone pole. It's grippy as hell, hence why I can grip in my clothing, even in like long socks. Okay, so you know, I'm not a freak. Well, I could be. So I'm coming down. So I'm going to step up, step up. So I'm literally going to come down with my hands shoulder width apart, pushing into the floor. I'm going to look up at the pole, so between my legs, and then from here I'm going to bring one foot up, then the other, and I'm going down, down. Now when you go up, you don't want to allow your shoulders to shift forwards, because that is how you're going to come down. You're not going to feel very safe. So the most important thing is we're able to push down, and we're actually pushing towards the pole to keep ourselves up. And it's literally up, up, down, down. You don't have to stay up there, okay? Really great way to start building your confidence upside down. Great way also if you're scared of handstands. So down, look, go as high as you want to go, up, up, down, down. Go again. Up, up, down, down. Yeah? Another one, talking about up, up, down, down, is planking with the pole. So again, you can start on your knees and you're going to be in a kneeling plank. Okay? So be on your knees, you can cross your ankles, we're going to shift the shoulders so they're over the wrists. And then all we're going to do from here is take one hand onto the pole. It's not very high, I'm going to push down, place the other hand on. Down, down, up, up. Down, down, up, up. Does this make sense? Yeah? So this is another exercise that you can do. Cool. Okay, so fifth one, I know I said I'd do 4, but that was number 4. So is working on bracket grips. I'm trying to help you work obviously your whole upper body, and I'm trying to think like what people struggle with the most. And I know bracket is one, I don't particularly like bracket, but if you're really struggling, you want to work on a bracket grip, you can do kneeling bracket grips, okay? So I'm basically going to be in a kneeling position, and I'm going to place one hand up, pulling the pole down, other hand at hip level, index finger down, and I'm pushing down. So all I'm doing is I'm pull, push, lifting the knees, okay? When I say lifting the knees, I'm literally just lifting them off the floor. They're not going anywhere, okay? So from here, pull, and then try and lift the knees. Swap sides, push and pull, swap, okay? So you don't want to put too much weight through that bracket arm grip. Always make sure you're pulling super hard with the top arm, and make sure your arms are wide enough. If you're here, this bottom arm's going to get it, okay? So reaching up, pulling the shoulders down, lift the knees, swap over, push and pull, lift. Yeah, does that make sense? Again, I'm trying to relate it to the pole. I'm still building strength. Do you have any questions with that, or have I just all bored you to death? Hopefully that's helpful. Definitely create some workouts, like all those exercises I've given you today, you can put in a workout. You might want to do off the pole and then on the pole, off the pole, on the pole, off the pole, on the pole. You might want to maybe do 10 reps of each, or 10-second holds, or maybe like my classic is doing 30 seconds work, 10 seconds rest, 30 seconds work, 10 seconds rest. And then until you've completed whatever you set. So you might do like 3-4 rounds. It's completely up to you. You've got to start somewhere. Yeah? Does this make sense? Can't see any questions or comments, so I believe that you're all good. So hopefully this is helpful to you. If you don't want to create your own workouts, obviously there's lots of stuff on the portal that you can just get stuck into. I literally do the workouts for you. It's not like, I've told you what to do. It's like I do it with you. We sweat together. We swear together. It's beautiful. Beautiful messes. But yeah, let me know if you've got any questions, and I'll see you tomorrow. See ya!